Kyle.
Hey!
This is a cold open. You know why?
Why?
Because it's spring.
Yeah, you can have a cold morning every once in a while.
You can. In fact, we just had a cold morning a couple weeks ago.
You're not wrong.
We were at like 90 degrees one day.
Yep.
And then we were at 50 degrees the next day.
Wow.
That's a 40-degree temperature difference if you're not aware.
That's a swing.
For those listeners who are not in the United States and using the imperial system, that's some sort of Celsius to another sort of Celsius.
Yeah, it's probably like only 5
Temperature
Celsius,
degrees
yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Maybe. Do you know why we're doing a cold open?
Why?
Because we are asking everyone out there in Dreppin Stone listener land
Yep.
to come join us on Patreon.
Oh, good call.
Yeah. And honestly, like that is the way to support Dreppin Stone.
Indeed.
There's a couple different tiers there in terms of supporting Dreppin Stone.
Yep.
And you get a lot in return.
Yep.
You get fresh cracks,
Pours with.
episode notes,
Yeah.
like promos before all the episodes.
Yeah. Pours
Or most of them.
tonight.
Those are good.
Tonight's pours.
Tonight's pours, we're working on some small like get-togethers where you just jump on a chat with us and hang out for a little bit.
And hey, you'll get like some behind the scenes stuff while we're doing some traveling.
Absolutely, because that's exclusively for Patreon.
Exclusive.
Honestly, it's all exclusively for Patreon first anyway.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So hop on over, join us at patreon.com. That's patreon.com/DreppinStone. Get early access to behind the scenes kind of stuff, all those good things. And it helps support the podcast and make this machine keep running.
Indeed. All good things.
Kyle,
Hey,
to the episode.
shall we go?
Hey! Welcome to the Dreppin Stone podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
I was yelling at that guy over there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, man, somebody sounds like they're in distress, but it was just you.
No, yeah. Well, it was me yelling at that guy to come over here so we could tell him about Dreppin Stone.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, I hope he's okay.
Well, he is laying on the ground. Should we go over and check him out?
He's probably sunbathing. It's Florida.
I wonder why he was nude.
No tan lines.
Woo. Woo.
Yeah.
That actually, now that I see that, I am actually more concerned now.
Well,
On that
sunscreen.
Who wears sunscreen?
Nobody in Florida.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You
no, I
wear
definitely do.
absolutely. You're
Yeah.
invested.
I am. In fact, like I've invested in several sunscreen companies.
I bet. Makes sense.
Well, I mean, I don't have tan lines, and it's because I have no tan.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
I gotta keep this this skin just baby smooth. You know what I mean?
Indeed. Like the color of Manila.
That makes me sound like I have jaundice.
Man.
Oh.
Vanilla. It's like man vanilla.
I was gonna say translucent, but okay, that works
That'll
too.
work.
Yeah.
That'll
Speaking of that,
Yep.
let's drink something, please.
Indeed.
Okay, what do you want to drink this week?
I've got a style of beer
Ooh.
that I've got a couple of brews from
Okay.
that to me are kind of quintessential springtime, summertime vibe.
I love it.
They're sours.
Ooh.
So springtime, summertime vibe. And also, how about some breweries from the Sunshine State?
I love it.
You know,
What are we featuring?
You can't go wrong.
No. No, you can't.
So we've got here our first dip
Ooh.
teaser there.
Oh.
Our first dip into this is going to be the rainbow colored glasses. It's a rainbow sherbet inspired Berliner style fruit beer from Ology Brewing Company
Out of Tallahassee.
out of Tallahassee, Florida.
Actually, and I think they also have like a branch in Tampa now too.
Oh,
if I'm
no
not-
kidding.
Yeah, I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
Right?
actually, I'm 90% sure they do.
we
Yeah.
can go visit them.
Yeah, we do.
Get some of this rainbow colored on tap.
Delicious. Well,
Yeah.
we'll find out.
Ah,
You know.
yeah.
Okay.
No, rainbow colored glasses.
Okay.
What shall you think?
Uh,
Let's drink it.
yeah, let's do that.
Let's drink
That's all I got. Wow, that like sprayed everywhere.
That one was ready.
Wow, that was an aggressive pour.
Wanted to give you a hit on that one.
I can see that.
There we go.
Wow.
In the glass.
Look at that. That is fantastic looking.
Doesn't it feel like summer in a glass? Those look great.
So rainbow sherbet inspired Berliner style.
Sherbet?
It says sherbet. We've had this discussion.
I know. I
Yeah.
remember that on a recent thing.
I know.
I've always said sherbet.
I know.
Is it a separate thing?
Sherbet and sherbert?
Yeah.
No, I looked it up, and I think it's just a pronunciation difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like really disappointing
Oh.
on my end.
Well, that's okay. This is a beautiful, bright red color. It reminds me of cranberry juice.
It does look very cranberry-ish.
Like if you were to put like cranberry juice and like, I don't know, like Prosecco or some sort of like sparkling wine.
Sure.
Yeah. Reminds me of that.
Yeah, cranberry sauce.
Sauce?
Sauce. Cranberry sauce.
You soused
Like,
on cranberry sauce. On the nose, though. It's delightfully fruity.
yeah, it smells like sherbet.
You bet.
You bet it
You
does.
bet it smells like sherbet.
Have you always said sherbet?
No.
Oh, okay. Just since you've been educated.
No,
I've said sherbet.
I've said
my
sherbet.
whole life. That's one of those really disappointing things for me. Shit. Like I used to go down to the Baskin Robbins all the time and get some sherbet. I almost feel like though, if you're gonna say sherbet, it should be like sorbet.
Well,
And you
it's
should say sherbet.
it's a misrepresentation of those things.
Huh?
It's a misnomer of those things.
Of sorbet?
Yeah,
It's
sorbet
actually
and-
sorbet and it's just they
And
added in an H.
sorbet and sherbet are two different things. Sherbet has cream in it. Sorbet does not.
Okay. But are they both French?
Fruit? No, I don't know, but they're both fruit based.
I just feel like if you're gonna say sorbet, you sound a little pretentious if
Oh,
you're gonna
yeah.
then say sherbet. Man, I mean, on the nose, I don't know. That you can, it smells like a popsicle in a glass.
It smells like a bomb pop to me.
Whew.
You remember
What's
the?
the bomb, the three colored,
Yeah. Like the
Firework one?
Yeah. You know what I'm talking
the
about.
red, yellow, blue,
Red, yellow, blue. Right.
red, yellow, blue, red, white, blue.
Red. Why did I just agree with you?
I don't know, but you were there.
definitely.
You were on
Definitely
board.
Red, yellow, blue. Yeah.
Red, white, blue.
It does. It smells like a sour bomb pop.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Rocket or the bomb pops or rocket pops?
rocket pops is what I'm thinking.
Maybe I'm
I don't know what a
thinking
bomb
something
pop is.
different.
That might be
okay.
some alcohol.
They were red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shaped like a rocket,
Or a bomb.
firework.
Sure. Fireworks. Maybe they were firework pops. But yeah, it smells like summer in a glass.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking
Fruity.
like running around the pool.
Oh,
You get
careful.
those-
Don't
the-
want to slip in.
Yeah, I mean running around because you're like a little bit of a rebel,
Right.
right? Because you're not supposed to run around.
No,
But-
your mom's
but
going to yell at you.
You did it anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, be careful on that pool.
you drinking out the fire hose.
Oh, yeah. Fire.
and you got
You're
the-
drinking out of a fire hose?
Hell yeah,
Wow.
yeah, like all of it.
Yeah.
Give it to me. I'm thirsty.
I want all the water.
I'm so dehydrated right now.
I think you mean garden hose.
Garden hose, yeah.
Okay.
Because if there's a fire at my house, I'm using my garden hose. I combine the two.
Right.
But the popsicles out of the plastic, you know, that
Tubes.
You cut the
Yeah. Give like, 50 popsicles for like 3 cents.
right. That's
Yeah.
what it reminds me of.
Yeah, those are so great. In like the worst way.
Great in the best way.
All right.
Disagree.
I'm going in. Whoo.
Yes, sir.
Whoo.
That's got some tart.
It's a little puckery.
Yeah.
I'm
Everywhere.
I'm clenching. I'm clenching some things. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm clenching, but I'm clenching them.
Armpits. Woo.
Okay. Right off the bat, I mean, yes, it's tart, but it is raspberry forward. It's like a raspberry lemonade.
Hell yeah. Fresh raspberries and lemonade.
Man,
Tart lemonade.
that is delightful.
Yeah. That's refreshing.
That is refreshing.
Indeed.
100%. Because, like, I mean, you think of like a summer beer, you don't want to be weighed down.
Oh, yeah, no.
And the ABV on this is a surprising 6%.
Woo.
I know, but it does not drink like a 6%.
Yeah, no.
It definitely doesn't feel, it feels lighter than that.
Yep. You know, it seems almost like a session style. Like
Well-
it seems lower.
Well, most
sure.
most sours tend to be in that like 4.2, maybe
Right.
pushing 4.5. But wow,
Sick.
that is fantastic.
rock your world.
Yeah, getting some citrus too, like not just a lemonade, but like an orange citrus.
Yeah. I mean to me it's like literally if you took some lemonade and then crushed up some raspberries,
Yeah,
threw it in there, gave it a stir, this is what you came out with.
man,
Spot on.
I am impressed.
It's
Wow,
absolutely delightful.
truly is. Like,
Yeah.
it's not heavy. It's not so tart, so sour that you're like, ugh, what is going on here? Because sometimes like sour beers can lean vinegary,
Sure.
and this does not do that at all.
Yeah, no, I think there's a really interesting range of like a sour beer where the tart level is kind of the barometer.
Yeah,
Of like it's where does the tartness come in, And to me, this one hits like dead center
Right.
of like that range. I've had some that are absolutely delightful that are less on that tart side, but I like sours like this that definitely give you enough of a bite
Yeah.
in that sour that lets you know, whoo, yeah, that's got some sour in there.
Yep. And it's a sour that like lingers on throughout successive sips.
Sure. And like at the same time, I've also had some that are just like, whoo, they're so sour. Every single sip is like a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
That are also delightful.
Oh yeah.
So like the scale is definitely there, and I've enjoyed beers all over that scale.
Yeah.
This one though, right in the middle, just right in that really
Agreed.
happy place
Agreed.
of like, I don't like a sour that like when you're drinking it, like, is it a sour?
Yeah.
I can't really tell.
You know this is
That's
a sour.
kind of a disappointment. Like this definitely has that little bit of a jaw twinge when you sip on it. It's like, yeah. That's a challenge. It's a comfortable challenge. It's not like a challenge where you're really battling it the whole time.
And I think it's offset by this really nice fruity note that you're just like, oh, hello. Like, oh, I know we were joking around, but it literally does remind me of like that ice cream truck. It comes by
1000%.
in the summer and you're like, man, I can get me an ice cream out of that package. Who knows what's been in that freezer?
Right.
But I'm going to get me one of them ice creams.
Y'all get any Choco Tacos?
Oh, I think those are discontinued.
I think they brought them back though.
Oh, did they?
I think they did.
Oh,
It was
man,
like too much
Choco
of an outcry.
Wow. It's like Twinkies. They're like, nah.
Yeah, we got to do it. We got to bring them back. They're
Ain't
too
nobody
popular.
buying these, but nobody can live without them.
But those Rocket Pops, or whatever the hell they were,
Yeah.
when you got to that white part that
Yep.
was the lemon,
Yep.
it was like, woo,
Yeah.
that is sour. That's kind of like what you get in here. You get the sweet, the tip, the sweet tip, just the sweet tip right off the bat, and that's delightful. But then you hit that white sour, and it's like,
nickname in college.
woo, sweet tip.
Yeah.
Good years.
Yeah. And
I
then
mean,
you
that's a nickname well deserved.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But then you're right. You get to that cherry at the bottom there. And then your world just changed. So you go blue raspberry. You go
think it was blue
lemonade.
at the top?
I think it's blue.
I think it was red at the top. Red, white, and then blue.
That makes a lot more sense, actually.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it's that blue
Okay, so
raspberry.
you start
that
with
red
cherry.
raspberry. That's that blue raspberry. That unnatural raspberry. That blue one.
Okay, so you start at cherry, then you go to lemonade,
Yeah.
then you end in that like blue raspberry.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. That is fantastic.
That is, yeah.
Actually, hey, let's just stop recording right now. Let's
Okay.
run to Tampa.
Yeah.
Because I know there's an ology over there. They
Sure.
open at 4 p.m. I
Right.
looked that up real quick.
Wow.
We can make it there just shortly after they open.
Love it.
And
Shake some hands.
sure.
Say well done,
Yeah.
guys.
Absolutely. Meet
Yep.
some people, shake some hands.
Indeed.
High fives if you want.
I like
we
it.
Could, we could if you want to go back to elbow smacks, like you smack your elbow. Yeah.
Well, I
we
mean,
could- whatever they want.
The bar crawl that we could do over there,
Oh, buddy.
second to none.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that bready note on the tail end.
Okay, I'm glad you got that because I was like, I get this like cereal or bread. I think works well, and I thought it was just me.
Cereal is actually even better.
Yeah, it's to
I
me,
think.
it's a lucky
Fruity Pebbles.
It's a Lucky Charms note,
Lucky Charms.
and like I thought I was just like, no, I don't know, my palate's all messed up.
No, you have to wait for it.
Yeah,
You have to wait for that extended finish because you have to let the sour completely go.
yeah.
And then, Lucky Charm, Fruity Pebble note.
Fruity Pebbles works really well.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, if you were add some lactose to this, you could totally call this a Fruity Pebbles beer or a
Fruity Pebble.
no, what's the other
Lucky
one?
Charm.
There it is, or a Lucky Charms beer.
Fruit Loop.
Oh, Fruit Loop works too.
Yeah. Any of those. Twix.
Twix. I think you mean Trix.
Yeah. You're right. How is that? What's the difference in the spelling there?
There's a W and an R.
Are you serious?
Yeah. One's a candy bar, one's a cereal.
Man.
Yeah.
Trick. Trix?
TWIX. That's the candy bar.
TW. Oh, right. Not TWRIX.
No.
Twirix?
What?
I got you.
Okay.
TRIX. Yeah. Tricks are for kids.
Twix are,
Are candy bars.
but kids can also eat them too.
Indeed.
Yeah.
2 for me, none for you.
Left or right.
I never had a preference. I really like those people that are like, they open up and eat them both at the same time just to fuck people up.
No, you
Like
stack
the-
them on top of each other just to
Like
be
the Kit Kats.
Yeah.
Just open them. Be uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm not
how
gonna
I'm
not
doing
gonna
this.
tear these apart. I'm
I
gonna eat the
love that.
whole thing.
Yeah, I just love it.
Yeah.
Just bring it.
So I've been struggling with something a little bit. And it's actually something that I've been working on and seriously working on for about the past, I don't know, maybe year and a half. And I've
That's
been
a long time.
Yeah, I've been struggling lately. And I'm not really sure why. In fact, like I had a terrible experience last night, and that is sleep.
Oh yeah, that would happen at night.
Yeah, and sleep is something I think that is incredibly interesting
Interesting and important.
and insanely important. And I think like my relationship to sleep has changed dramatically since I was let's say a young teenager. And I think my perspective on sleep has changed even more dramatically so.
Oh yeah, totally.
So what's kind of got me thinking about all of this and got me wanting to bring this up to you and to get your opinion on sleep. And we'll also talk about some listeners' opinions on sleep is like last night, man, I just had like a terrible night's sleep. Partially like Carol and I, we had some wine. We were kind of just hanging out, playing cards, drank some wine.
Doing the thing.
Yeah, it always makes me like wine for whatever reason makes me really warm. Like I sleep really warm, and like I don't know why.
Right.
So I think that made it not a good night of sleep. Like I was restless, Carol was restless, so like it was just terrible.
It made me sleep warm.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but like at the same time, like my whole existence is warm. Like walking around, I'm warm. Like that's just me every night. That's how I like decide in the morning of like, is this shirt worth wearing again? Nope, it's pretty wet.
And I understand that perspective of like I always sleep warm.
Yep.
Because I do too. Like I'm a warm natured person.
Sure.
And I've actually taken some steps to mitigate that at night. And luckily
They working?
they are.
Nice.
And luckily Carol also is someone who sleeps warm, which I am assuming Maria is not. So she is totally for this. You know, you don't really think about sleep until you get like just a shitty night's sleep.
Sure.
And so yeah, I thought it'd be an interesting conversation.
I love it. Like sleep is something I do at least, 15% of every day.
Ooh.
So, it's something you do your whole life.
Hopefully, anyway. I mean, there are people that don't, and they don't sleep very well.
I mean, well, any time that I've ever tried to do one of those lockout, like, you stay up all night long kinds of things, the next day's awful.
Oh, it's
the next
terrible.
day's a wash.
It's not just the next day; it's like the next several days.
So yeah, you have to like recalibrate. We're gonna go through it in not that long of a time period.
Yeah.
When we travel,
Right.
it's gonna be an adjustment. Like you get that jet lag. You get to the place and
That
it's supposed
what?
to be jet lag. Jet lag. What did I say? Jet lag.
Jet lag, that jet lag.
You get over there and you have to readjust,
Right.
because time period is completely different from what you're accustomed to because of things.
Sure.
And it does. It takes you a while to readjust to it. Yeah, no, I think it's a very interesting topic.
Yeah. So I mean, when I say I've kind of really been interested in it in the last year and a half, like I've dived in deep, man. Like I've been reading, listening to podcasts, reading some stuff by like some, sleep scientists. I've really liked, I like this guy. His name's Andrew Huberman. I don't know if you've heard of Andrew Huberman. He's got a podcast called the Huberman Lab, but he also does a lot. He's a sleep scientist, and among other, things at Stanford, and he kind of talks about all of these ideas. He's really science-based and research-driven. I like a lot of his stuff. And it just comes down to a pursuit of better sleep, because I know how much of a better Nick that makes.
Indeed.
I think a good place to start would be like, what was your relationship to sleep as a child? Like what kind of like sleep experiences, I guess, did you have?
Man, right off the bat, you just saying that, me not thinking. As a child, I was very kind of, it was like circumstantial.
Yeah.
There would have to be like certain parameters met for me to have a comfortable night's sleep.
Sure.
And parameters meaning like, like I would have a certain thing playing audibly that I could listen to that would help me fall asleep. I grew up in a house where, as a very young child, because of our sleeping arrangements, our house didn't have AC throughout.
Sure.
So my room did have air conditioning. So my sister and I would share a room to sleep comfortably.
Sure.
And so like just having that awareness of another person around created the proper setting for
Right.
a good night's sleep,
Yeah.
would help you fall asleep.
I got you. So for me, like, I would say, like, my younger years, I had a pretty healthy relationship with sleep in that, like, I could fall asleep anywhere.
Oh, man.
I mean, like, literally
Same.
anywhere. I cannot do that now, which I like, man, I wish I could,
Sure.
but I cannot do that now. But I was also someone like, maybe this speaks to the nerd that I was. Like, when I was a young kid, me getting away with something was like, well, you can stay up as long as you want, but you have to be in your room and you have to be reading. And like, that was my parents' like concession. It was like, you can stay up as long as you want on any given night, as long as you're reading something.
Right.
And so like that happened. And I always fell asleep reading. So
Right.
like, it was never like, man,
it's
I
a
was up till like,
comforting thing.
I was never up till like 4 a.m. reading. I mean, I wasn't like middle school and maybe even high school, just because the relationship changed.
Right.
Like, I had the ability to just out
Right.
anywhere.
Yeah.
And I miss that because I
Yeah.
can't do that now.
I very clearly remember like days of like we had one of the slip and slides with the pool at the end of it.
Yeah.
I forget what they were called. But
You
it was
fell
like
asleep in the water.
you run, you dive,
Like the splashdown pool or
you
splashdown
dive,
stuff.
you take a dip and take a dive.
I
Like, I remember the theme song.
Yeah.
And like I can remember like sliding out through one of those and getting to the pool at the end, and there's like the cushy bit at the end of it. And just
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna fall asleep. And like took a nap, and like remember my mom like coming out and like picking me up and taking me in. Or like falling
You sure
asleep
you didn't have a concussion or something?
in the bathtub. Like, no, I just like I think to this day my mom will tell you, like, as a kid, like I could fall asleep wherever.
But it wasn't like narcolepsy. Like,
Might have been. Totally could have been. Cause like even today, like, I don't know, if I get comfortable, man, I
Out.
can get out. But like at the same time, it's like there are instances where I just can't get comfortable.
Yeah.
If I can't get comfortable, ain't sleeping.
yeah,
I can't sleep on an airplane.
yeah.
Sucks.
I can, but not good sleep. It's
Right.
like, it's just like,
You're like
shit.
right on that borderline of like, am I actually asleep,
Right.
or
So-
am I just
so-
like so close to unconsciousness that I don't really know what's
It kind of
happening
becomes
around
like,
me?
would it be better just to stay up and like deal with the consequences, or actually try and fall asleep?
Right.
As a teenager, though, man, my relationship with sleep just took a nosedive. And all the research that I've done recently is like, that is so counterintuitive to actually what we need in terms of like young
yeah,
kids.
sure.
Young kids, I'm saying like less than 3 years old. They need
12 hours.
Yeah, they need a shitload of sleep.
Yeah.
And then like there's this period between like maybe 4 and like 12 where you're okay. You know,
Right.
you're going to get sleep regardless, and
Right.
it's probably going to be fine. But then like from like 13 or 12 to 19 to
Death.
20, like
Oh, no.
you need like a lot of sleep. You need like baby level sleep almost.
Sure.
Like that 3-year-old kind of sleep, like
Right.
just 12 hours maybe. But my relationship, and I know because I kind of exist in that, sphere, is that a lot of teenagers get like very minimal sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like it is so detrimental. And that was me. Like, I prided myself on how little sleep I got in terms of like, man, how much sleep did you get? Or like, when did you go to bed? Oh, it was like 2 a.m. Dude, it's 6 a.m. right now. You got 4 hours of sleep. But in reality, like the way sleep stages work, like if you say you got 4 hours, you probably really got like 2.5,
Right.
maybe 3. So like, man, I prided myself on that.
Why do you think that was?
I think it was cultural, honestly. I think it was like, it stemmed from like when I was in that period. So this is, late 90s, early 2000s. This was like the rise of energy drinks, like the
Sure.
big rise of energy drinks. This is like the big rise of like, not that partying's always kind of been a thing,
Right.
but like
Like Red Bull.
yeah, or like, the all night grind of like video games,
Right.
and like just stay up and play GoldenEye until the sun comes up kind of thing.
Right.
You don't need sleep. Like, that's for the weak. You can get so much done. And for me, like, that's how I existed for a long time, like
Interesting.
into my early 20s.
Right.
Yeah. What about you?
I missed that. Like, I remember very early on, like the nights that I couldn't sleep, it was because something was on my mind.
Right.
And something was keeping my mind active and not allowing me to fall asleep. We always talk about it. Like I had a TV and a VCR in my room with a movie collection. And I had like certain movies, like freaking Indiana Jones or any number of movies that like I could put in. Men in Black, like, was a classic. A bunch of James Bond, like GoldenEye and stuff like that I could put in. And the VCR had one of those like things up at the top that would tell you how long it's been playing. And I would know that if it's been longer than like Aladdin, holy crap, I watched that movie so many times. Like if it got to a certain point, if it's been more than 10 minutes and I'm still awake, I'm screwed because I'm about to be awake for this whole movie.
Right.
And I always remember that being like a very important indicator of like, how long have you been awake since you started this?
Right.
If I'm past that first opening segment of the movie, something's wrong and I'm thinking about something. And I always remember that being a thing. And it was never like an accomplishment of like, man, I was awake last night till 4 o'clock. Like,
Yeah.
that was never like a thing for me. So like even like past that, going into like, you know, my 20s and things like that, there was like an importance of like, or at least not necessarily an importance, but an understanding of like, if today sucked, it's because I didn't sleep well last night.
Right.
There was a correlation.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have that correlation until my like maybe mid 20s. Like I knew like, man, I didn't get good sleep last night, but it's okay. I'll just chug more coffee. You know, I was never, I know I mentioned energy drinks, but I was never like really super big into energy drinks.
Right.
Like I was when they first came out, and I was like, man, I got to get a Monster or whatever.
Right.
But like I very quickly realized how bad those things are.
Right.
But for me, it was like coffee. Like, man, last night just sucked. I'm going to drink an extra pot of coffee.
Right.
You know, that just totally screws things up too.
Right.
So it probably wasn't until my mid 20s that I actually had that realization for whatever reason. But I prided myself on like, man, I only got 3 hours last night. And I'm still killing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, wow, what an idiot. Like you could have, man, you could have taken over the world, but you were too busy staying up till 3 a.m. doing God knows what.
Right.
You know, so I don't think anyone taught me, and I think this is actually a learned behavior. I don't think anyone taught me how to sleep well, and I've had to teach myself that.
Totally.
Which I want to get into, but we have another beer before we do that.
Okay, so other beer. What shall it be?
This is a beer brewed and canned by Tripping Animals in Doral, Florida. That's kind of like I think it's North Miami or like maybe northwestern Miami.
Man, I'm totally somebody that didn't grow up in Florida.
Yeah,
I've
well,
always
it's
said
okay.
Doral.
It might be Doral. I don't know.
I like Doral. Doral sounds,
well, it sounds like a Florida thing.
sounds way better than Doral. Well, like, that's like you're trying to be fancy, but it's like, nah, you're Doral.
Yeah. Well, like there's a town where the Blue Jays, the Toronto Blue Jays, they play their spring training games. And I've heard this town's name just so many different ways, and it's Dunedin is the way that I pronounce it.
Okay.
And most people around Dunedin pronounce it Dunedin.
Sure.
But other people outside of maybe like Central Florida call it Dunedin. Dunedin. I'm like, well, how does that make sense?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. If you're saying Dune,
yeah,
then the E's already used, and it should just be Din. It should be Dune-din.
Right. But like the name of the town it's spelled Dunedin.
Right.
So I understand Dunedin.
It should be just be Dune-din.
Right. Dunedin. But it's Dunedin.
I like Dunedin better on that.
Yeah, well that's the name of the town.
That's the way I've always heard it.
Dunedin.
Yeah.
It's not Dunedin.
Dunedin.
And I've heard so many people say Dunedin. I'm like,
right.
What? And I couldn't see it. And then like once I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I guess.
If you say so.
Anyway, so I'm gonna say this is Doral. But this is the Limonada Rosada, a sour ale with raspberry, strawberry, and lime.
Ooh.
Yeah, you ready for it?
Totally ready for it. Come on, you can do it.
I can do it. I got it. Here we go. Oh, look at that! And I only spilled some on the chair here, not on me.
We'll count it. What color is it gonna be?
You don't know? Like you've never opened
No
it?
clues.
I don't know.
First
either.
one I've ever had.
I'm gonna say
Yeller.
no. I'm gonna say like light pink.
All right.
Lemonade.
I think it's gonna be yeller.
You think yeller?
So much yellow on that can. It's gotta be yellow.
Raspberry, strawberry, and lime.
It's got a lot of like jugs on the thing, and it's like purple.
Here we go. I'm gonna say slight pink. Ready? Oh, we are both wrong.
It's IPA colored.
Yeah, I did not expect that color. It's orange.
Yeah, dark orange.
We are both incorrect.
Looks like an IPA.
Yeah.
Hazy.
Hazy. It does look like a hazy IPA. This comes in at, again, 6%.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah. Tripping animals.
Loving that tripping, like they had a tripping elephant,
Yeah.
and like I didn't get that one, but the tripping flamingo here's he's shot, man. He's out.
He's good.
Yeah, he's totally feeling it.
I really like this brewery, man.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like Carol and I were going to make a special trip down that way.
No kidding.
Just to go to Tripping Animals.
Up that way?
Down that way in Miami.
Oh, this is Miami.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking this was
Not,
Tallahassee.
yeah, Tallahassee was the other one. All right.
That makes sense.
On the nose?
Bit of a danky
I was
lemonade.
gonna say, it's dank. There's a little dank going on there.
Little danky lemonade.
It's like all the freshman college students left for spring break,
Oh. Hey guys.
and you walked into the dorm. You're like,
Yeah.
huh. But there's like this really nice lemonade note there too,
Yeah, definitely like hard lemon. I don't even
Yeah.
know how to go lemonade. Just lemon.
and orange, like
Danky
very
lemon.
specific orange. That wasn't one of the notes that I read though, was it?
Orange? Aren't you glad you didn't say banana?
I said raspberry, strawberry, and lime.
Oh yeah. Lime.
I don't get strawberry.
Will do. On the color.
Color,
Perhaps.
maybe. What are these little black things floating in it? Just kidding. I was talking about raspberry seeds or strawberry seeds. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you could convince me. If you said strawberry, I'd be like, okay. That
I
tart
get
fruit.
Yeah.
That tart
Yeah.
fruit note, sure. Might be.
All right, I'm going in.
All right.
Whoa.
Wow. Ew. Huh.
That
That's different.
is an interesting flavor. What flavor is that? Foot?
Barf?
Oh god. Oh.
It's back. It's the back end of vomit.
Like when you said that,
Yeah.
like you know that like
You're thinking about it.
salivary
You're already
like
thinking
thing?
about it,
Yeah, like oh.
Yeah, when you throw up, it's not that first go, it's that second go, but like the back end of it, of that second.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Ah.
It's really weird.
That is not pleasant.
It's unpleasant as it goes in. There's like a really strong midpoint though where it's like, oh, it's okay. But then you get the aftertaste, and that aftertaste is like, ooh.
Yeah. That aftertaste is very bile.
It's very grapefruit on that back end with the bitter.
Yeah.
It's a grapefruit bitter, which I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy grapefruit very much. And I think that
Totally
combined
grapefruit bitter.
with the sour
Oh.
of the crappy lemonade is a bad combination.
Okay, here's the roller coaster I go on. Okay, I sip and I get like strawberry lemonade, like straight up strawberry lemonade. I could even be convinced of a strawberry mojito. Okay, and then it drops you off, and it just gets sour and like stomach acid.
All right, do this.
I got the grapefruit note too.
I just did this and it was okay. Take a sip, hold it in your mouth. Like big sip. Big sip, hold it all in your mouth, just kind of swish that around. It's okay. That's all pleasant. There's nothing. You already swallowed it. You didn't do what I said. Mm-hmm. It's like this weird like cola flavor mixed with.
I did okay. It's that like grapefruity bitter on the very back end.
Grapefruity flat cola
Yeah.
thing.
Yes. Yeah.
That makes you want to upchuck.
It's like I really love a good Paloma. And a Paloma is a grapefruit margarita, basically. That's what a Paloma is. I like grapefruit. I know
Sure.
you're not a big fan. I like grapefruit.
Yep.
I am not a fan of this.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like there's really some interesting flavors in there, and if you could separate them, they might be really interesting. But like mashed together, they don't make an interesting profile together.
You know what I think it is? I think it's that strawberry lemonade note is too sweet.
Yeah.
If that were not as sweet as it is, it wouldn't make the sour that punches through at the end like that much more impactful. It would be less like
Yeah,
inducing.
like when it first enters your palate, there's this is going to be sour.
Yeah.
But that right off the bat, that is overwhelmed by this like complete sweetness.
Absolutely.
But then that's completely overwhelmed on the back end by this bitter.
Yeah.
And just that roller coaster ride is very much just like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole time.
Which I will say is really interesting to me because I know how good beer from Tripping Animals is.
It's like the reverse of a roller coaster. It's like there's this big thing, you're gonna get a guy, and then it just flatlines. Oh, here we go, here it comes, and then it just flatlines again, and then you get off the ride. And it's like, oh,
And then you throw up afterwards.
well, that sucked. Yeah, you just get off the ride. I'm like, I'm never doing that again. That was a waste.
Wow, that's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it's that mid palate
Yeah, it's the mid palate.
is so uncomfortable.
It makes me.
Yeah, you keep thinking something's going to come out of this, and it's just what you're left with is just like disappointment.
Yeah. Sorry, tripping animals.
Yeah,
Well,
bummer.
yeah.
This isn't the one.
Nope. So, relationship with sleep as an adult.
Okay.
I would say, like, when you're in your 30s, you are fully adult. Like, I could contend, like, mid 20s is when you start to become, like, full adult. Does that make sense? Like, I know that's a conversation in and of itself.
Yeah.
But, like, I
Well,
think
it's just like, big term adult,
right.
big
I think-
umbrella.
I think
adult,
when
but then
you're-
that also has stages. within it.
Sure. But I think when you can reach an age where you can look back on the fully grown you, I think
Right.
that's when you can start to, like, okay, adult. So my relationship with sleep as an adult has changed dramatically. And that's because I realized what I was doing in my early 20s was not sustainable.
Right.
So I started to make small changes here and there, trying to get better sleep. But again, it wasn't really until the last year and a half. I'm gonna say, like, in quarantine time. So at this point, 3 years. So I didn't really start focusing on it until maybe like the summer of 2020, and then haven't really started to practice those kind of ideas until within the last year and a half or so.
Gotcha.
I've recognized in me that my relationship with sleep is that if I don't get about 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep, I mean, more is good too. I don't have necessarily a period where, like, nope, that was too much sleep. And I recognize that some people do,
Right.
but like anywhere above 7.5 hours for me is like that's golden.
Right.
And so I strive, and I hold it pretty dear to try and get that amount of sleep.
Specifically. Not
Specific.
too little, not too much.
Well, not too little. Like, I can get over that, but like I need at least about 7.5 hours.
Gotcha.
And I recognize, like, when I don't have that, my day is not as good.
Sure.
And that comes from, like, for me, starting to wear a fitness tracker. So I have a Fitbit.
Yeah.
Sponsor of the podcast, by the way. Yours is on the way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Don't worry. But, like, since I started, like, actually tracking my sleep in that way, and I recognize that that's not, like, foolproof, for sure, but, like, just being kind of aware of how I'm sleeping in the night.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, I mean, how often would you say that, like, in the course of a week,
Yeah.
do you not meet that goal at this point? Now that you're cognizant of it and you're trying to achieve it, how often do you not hit it?
I would say, okay, so let's say a standard month, 30 days. I would say I probably have maybe 4 or 5 not good days of sleep.
Gotcha.
I mean, I have some days that are better, some days that are worse, but like maybe 5 that are just like, wow, like you screwed the pooch on this one.
On all of those 5s,
Yeah.
what causes it?
A myriad of things. Stress mainly.
That just keeping you awake?
Keeping me awake,
You're,
yeah.
you're ready for sleep, but
Yeah.
it's just not coming?
Yeah. Generally it's stress.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Sometimes it's caffeine induced. Like maybe I've had too much caffeine that day.
Right.
Or like I didn't cut myself off at a certain time.
Right.
Sometimes it's I didn't work out, and maybe I haven't worked out for
Didn't wear yourself out?
Yeah, I didn't, like, I haven't worked out maybe for a couple of days.
Right.
So my body's not in that, like, okay, rest mode.
Exhausted state.
And like very rarely is it like I got shitty sleep because I drank too much. Like
Right.
I've become much better at that and much more cognizant of like, okay, if you're gonna go out for the night, you cannot have this much.
Right. Be
Because-
prepared to sleep
Yeah,
until this point.
because it's gonna be shit.
Right.
Or like recognize if you're gonna do this, you've got to, like, you're gonna be asleep till 10 a.m. Or like you're gonna just have a late morning, and that's gonna fuck everything up too.
Right.
What about you?
It is a bit of a understanding now of looking ahead.
Sure.
I've got to be up at this point. So to be happy with the day and to start it out on the right note, you need to be asleep here.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, the lives that we lead, circumstances are what they are. And
Stuff
it's like,
gets in the way.
it's just, unfortunately, I didn't go to sleep until here. But it is the activities leading up to that point.
Right.
Like you can certainly stay up and it just be due to circumstances that you're up that late, understanding that, like, yeah, tomorrow morning's going to be tough, but it's okay.
Right.
You can still push through that. But if it's an issue of, like I was totally like in excess of whatever, that's going to amplify the difficulties of the next day. So it definitely, interestingly enough, does have much more of a priority over your activities. The importance of, no, I need to be home and be asleep by this point, which sounds like such an old dude thing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Nah, I can't do that. I got to go home and get to bed.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and like I've realized that in myself of like, okay, do you want to go do this thing? You know what? I'd love to, but I don't want to be up that late. Or like, I don't want to be out that like literally Carol and I were having a conversation just a couple of days ago of like, hey, you want to go do this thing? I'm like, no. Why not? Because that's not going to put us home till like midnight, and I don't want to be out that late.
I plan on being asleep by that point.
Right. But then I also I'll go through stages of, I'll watch crap on my phone till 1 a.m. sometimes.
Sure.
And like, I might sleep. Then generally my summer, and I think we've talked about this, my summer routine, I know we've talked about this.
Adjusts.
My summer routine is different than my like work routine.
Right.
Because I have summers off. So that shifts, but like, I just, no. If it's going to put me out late, like generally I know that it's going to make for a worse day tomorrow.
Right.
And I don't want the Hulk to come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it is like a bit of a checks and balances.
Right.
And I think you can do that. Like I've always heard like the thing of like, you can't catch up on sleep.
Nope.
But you can like catch up on sleep. You can sleep ahead of time and be okay if you don't have as much the next day, kind of a thing.
Right. Well, yeah. And so in that same vein, like I have some tips that I want to share and get your feedback on.
Oh, cool.
Of things that like have helped me and things that I've learned.
Okay.
Yeah. Before I do that though, we have some feedback from listeners. You want to hear it?
I will listen to that.
Okay. The questions that we asked on Twitter. Do you think you get enough sleep? What's your go-to method to fall asleep when you find it difficult to do so?
That's a great question.
Yeah. Whiskey Nut said, I find a small shot of whiskey helps.
I mean, agreed.
Yeah.
I honestly agree with that one. Like if I finish off the night with like just I come into the library, have a little pour.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I think it slows down the heart palpitation, whatever that is.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
True Story Podcast said, sometimes guided sleep meditation can take me to a calm place with soft music.
Totally.
Yeah. Once Upon a Nightmare podcast said, falling asleep isn't an issue. Can't stay asleep. I definitely don't get enough sleep. Yeah. Never enough sleep. I try to read a book or distract myself until the sleepiness comes. Old friend Dahi says, actually, it's just a meme. And it's a meme of Ron Burgundy. And it just says, we are laughing.
Yeah. I bet Dahi doesn't get much sleep.
Yeah, I bet not either.
Too much going on.
Yeah.
But we love you for it.
Yeah, 100% so. So here's a couple of tricks that I've learned, or things that I've learned over the last year and a half or so, maybe a little bit more, that have helped me. And the first is dropping the temperature of the room. Yeah. So about probably about this time last year, Carol and I went to our local hardware store,
Ace,
place with the helpful hardware folks. They also are sponsoring this episode.
Right.
Yeah, that's 2 sponsors in one episode. Sick. I know. No, we went to a big box hardware store. Begins with an L, ends in O's.
Can't spell flowers without Home Depot.
Got it. And we bought a portable AC unit. And initially I was like, God, this is going to just kill our electric bill. It hasn't.
Okay, good.
But bought a portable AC unit. I was like, I just want to cool my bedroom.
This room.
Yeah. Because we thought about getting one of those ductless split units that are like freaking awesome.
Right.
And they use like no electricity at all. And we might actually still do that.
Ductless goose farms.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Putting that AC unit, man, it'll drop the temperature in our bedroom to like 65.
I bet.
And it's freaking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually changed a lot.
Cool.
Because-
Window unit?
No, it's just like a little upright, like little portable unit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like it also it's it's loud enough where it kind of provides like some white noise too.
Sure.
So that it's really nice.
Yeah, I bet. Like that's how I grew up. Like,
Yeah.
You know, window unit.
Window unit. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I loved that hum.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
And it drops the temperature enough, and like I've found that I sleep better with that
Right.
combination of the noise and the temperature drop. So that was a bit of research. Like I saw a bunch of people kind of talking about that lower temperatures generally provide better sleep scenarios.
Right.
Also, not using or limiting my blue light access to about an hour before bed,
Like it.
which is tough.
I bet.
It's tough.
I suck at that.
Yeah, because how many times you go to bed and you're like, man, I'll just scroll through Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that crap, or play a game or whatever.
You know, I mean, for me, it's not the death scroll, and it's not gaming and stuff like that. It's like I will choose a YouTube
same.
thing.
Yeah.
I admittedly sleep with earbuds in because my wife doesn't want any noise.
Right.
So I've for the past probably decade learned to sleep with an earbud in, and once Bluetooth earbuds became a thing, it was like perfect.
Game changer.
Yeah, don't need to have that wire tangling me and choking me throughout the night. So like I'll put that in and I'll put a video or something other on, but I'll turn it off.
Yeah.
And put it face down, and it's still playing, but it's not
Yeah.
affecting her in any way in her sleep patterns. And I'll start out probably like listening to what it is, but like within a minute or so, I'm just like I'm checked out.
Yeah.
And it's just a lullaby.
I
at that
can do
point.
that with some podcasts, like one of my sleep podcasts, Stuff You Should Know. And like that's a pretty OG podcast. Like they've been going for a while.
Right.
I can put that on, and normally within about 3 to 5 minutes out.
Right.
But I don't like to do that because I don't want, like, I've just noticed that it kind of creates an artificial sleep scenario for me.
Okay.
Well, like in terms of like I can't do that every night, or I don't want to do that every night.
Sure. Like for me, I mean, like I was, I chuckled at the artificial sleep. To me, it's either a trigger or it's not. And like I'll notice myself like within like that 5 minute range. If I'm like not feeling it, I will. Okay, I need to switch it. It's
Yeah,
not this.
absolutely.
Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That
Or if I'm too interested in the thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that it's keeping me awake because I'm interested in it now. Nope, need to check out. And that's definitely become a thing. So then I'll retreat to something that like I've watched this 100 times, but I still fucking love it.
Right.
You know, and that's where I'll go to that thing and put that on, and then quickly becomes white noise.
Right. Yeah, no, and I get that. I'll use that occasionally, but I try not to.
You ever done brown noise?
I have. I've actually tried all of the noises. There's pink noise, brown noise, green noise. Like there's a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, I like brown.
Yeah, brown's good.
Brown kind of puts me right to poop sleep.
Wake up with brown everywhere.
Oh God!
Oh no,
Shit.
not again.
Literally.
Gross. But I know I mentioned creating a ritual around sleep.
You did at one point in time.
This
Yeah.
was a couple weeks ago. In terms of like, I make my bed every morning,
Right.
and I've found that based on a bunch of research from like the military, which they've done a lot of studies on sleep.
Yeah, I bet.
And for a myriad of reasons, but like the making of your bed creates a ritual around that space.
Sure.
Where like the space is for a thing. And I know we're going to talk about rituals in the future, but like doing that, then like having to unmake my bed also kind of triggers those like sleep sensory experiences, if that makes sense.
Yeah, unconsciously or consciously, but yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So then like things that I've found that when I can't sleep that really help me to sleep, there are a couple different methods. And one that works well when like my mind is racing and my mind clearly wants something to do. So I'm thinking about all the shit that I have to do or all the things I have to get done, is I start at a high number and I count backwards. Not at like 100,
Right.
but like 20,000. Yeah.
Wow.
So I start at 20,000 and 19,999. And I kind of like start to do rhythmic breathing with that.
Okay.
And then I count 19,998 because like that length of number I've found for me, I have to think about it. And you're also thinking about like, okay, so I am at 98 and I got it at 97, but I don't just say 97 because that's easy to say. I have to say, not out loud. That's kind of weird.
19,997.
Right. Like I think about it. And that act of like counting down and thinking about it, if my mind is in that state, rarely will I make it to like 19,960. Like very rarely will I get that far. Normally I'm out before then.
I hope so.
Yeah.
If I was like, how far have you gotten down? It's like 1,200.
No. Never.
Holy shit.
Yeah, never. I like at that point,
It
I
was
was
a long night.
okay. So that's a good point too. And I have another trick too. But normally like if that is not working, I will give up and I will like, okay, I am not going to sleep. I need to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll get up and I'll go read something, or I'll get like, I won't turn on TV or I won't turn on my phone. Like I will try to do something else because like clearly my mind is not letting me sleep right now. And if I'm just going to fight it, like it's not going to go well.
Indeed.
So I will try to do something else. Sometimes I just try and fight it and then you end up laying there for 4 hours and like nothing good comes of that either.
How often does that happen?
Maybe like once every 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Where I'm like, man.
I would say same. Like maybe once every so often, a couple times a year.
Yeah.
That kind of a situation will arise due to stress or due to circumstances or whatever. But you know what's interesting is like at that point in time, I switch my focus to sleep.
Right.
And like I switch it to preparation.
Yes.
For the next day.
Yes.
Like ironically, literally just a couple of nights ago, because of the work schedule that I was on and the time pattern that I was on, I fell asleep one night at like 7 o'clock.
Ooh, yeah.
And at 3:30 in the morning, I woke up.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, I'm awake. I tried to go back to sleep for like, a half hour or so. And I was like, there's no way.
Yeah,
I'm not going back to sleep.
This ain't happening.
And so then at that point in time, I was just like, I'm just going to go ahead and like assume I'm awake for the day.
Right.
And it went fine.
Yeah.
And any time that within the past few years that's happened, that's kind of been my assessment of like, you know what? Tonight's just not going to work out. I'm going to switch focus now on like, what's the best thing I can do to prepare for the next day?
Right.
To try to make that better. And I feel like that's been like a really good realization.
Exactly.
Of, you know what? Screw tonight. It's not going to work out. What's the best thing I can do to like, maybe make today better? Maybe I go ahead and like take a shower. Maybe I go ahead and like just kind of start making a cup of coffee and just kind of doing the thing and start to wake up for the day.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to battle that.
And that'll make that'll make you have better sleep that night too.
The next night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you've kind of like, okay, now I am tired.
Right.
Yeah. And then the final thing that I've come to like really like this method, and it allows me to fall asleep normally like quick. There's a scientific term for it, and it's like processed relaxation or something like that. But the colloquial term is the military method or the Navy method. And this is, again, comes from
sleeping in a pool.
It comes from the U.S. military and trying to get soldiers to be able to fall asleep anywhere and quickly so that they can have sleep whenever they're, in certain situations or whatever.
Sure.
And the method is, and it has worked 98% of the time that I've done it. And it's, you basically like clench your entire body. And you think of like, okay, I'm contracting every muscle and I'm making everything as tight as I can. You don't want to go to like the point of like cramping. Well, yeah, you don't want to do that. And then like, I'm going to start at the top of my head, and you think about relaxing the muscles as if like a scanner were kind of going over your body. And so you start at the top of your head, you relax your eyebrows, you relax your eyes, you relax your cheek, your mouth, your chin area, and you just kind of slowly go down your body. And rarely, like when I'm thinking about it that way, and you're kind of rhythmically breathing through this, you're just, trying to almost power down. Rarely have I like gotten to my toes and like, oh, I'm still awake. Normally about like halfway kind of through that process, I'm out.
Right.
And like it works so well. Look it up. It's called the military method or the Navy method. And I encourage listeners to do the same, because like if you're someone who finds it very difficult to fall asleep, that is a method that I've found for me works very, very well.
Cool.
It's quite impressive.
Right.
And I'm interested. We're going to do some travel, obviously, here in a little while. I'm interested to see if that works in situations where it's not conducive to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, no, dude, like it's sleep. It's really important, and it's such a trigger for the day that's about to come.
100%.
And you got to get behind it.
Yeah.
And accept.
And for me, like I'm super interested in, first of all, like how much that actually impacts my day.
Not just your day, but like your health. In
Yeah,
general.
absolutely, all of it, and how much. Like how I feel like I'm kind of gaming the system, but how much like self experimentation I can do to get better sleep.
Well, you know, it's everything that's like similar to that. Like your sleep intake, your calorie intake, your exercise output.
Right.
You know, it's all of those things. Like they all control such a key component to the whole equation.
Yeah.
And it's like, where can I gain a little bit here that I can, you know, kind of lose a little bit over here if that
Exactly.
need to be the case.
Exactly.
But at the same time, where can I maximize everything?
Exactly. And for me, because I exist on routine pretty well, that like I can start to figure those things out.
Right.
And maximize those things, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, we want to know what you think about sleep as a whole. Like what tricks have you learned to be able to fall asleep and to stay asleep?
Yeah. What's your favorite lullaby? Favorite bedtime story? Let us know. Well, guys, like, you know, I'll totally read that shit.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you know this, but there's a podcast where like this guy just reads like old manuals.
No kidding.
And like he just reads like random news stories, and it's like a little bit ASMR, but it's like super boring.
Dude.
And it's just, I think it's called Sleep With Me. I think it's a podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pokey little puppy.
Oh,
Every time.
Every time.
I'm out.
Every time.
Let's
Good
go.
Good Night Moon.
Yeah. There you go.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Good night clock.
There it is.
Good night kittens.
Sure.
All kind of stuff.
Sure. Good night everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or there's the classic Samuel L. Jackson, "Go to fuck to sleep." Samuel L. Jackson didn't read or didn't write it, but I think he read it.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also want to know what you think about Ology's rainbow-colored glasses or Tripping Animals Limonada Rosada.
Yeah. What do you think about sours in general? Like, give us a
Ooh.
good sour that we need to go find.
Yeah.
You know, if it's Florida bound, maybe we can find it. Or if not, we'll do our best.
At worst case scenario, get in touch with us and you can send us some of that.
Woo-hoo.
I know.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, you can get in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drepandstone. DREP and Stone. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, maybe some other places.
Probably.
And if you can't, let us know. Maybe we'll try to find those too. But like a thing, share a thing, comment on a thing. We love those things.
Yeah, you can also support the podcast, like we said at the beginning of this episode, through our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/drepandstone. You can support the podcast by rating Drep and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one. Just scroll down on your podcast device, find somewhere that you can stars or thumbs or give a quick comment. Tell that podcast device what you think about Drep and Stone. It really helps boost ratings and numbers and all that good stuff. And finally,
Like and subscribe.
beautiful. You can also support the podcast through just word of mouth, telling
Yeah.
someone about Drep and Stone.
It's old school, but it works.
It really surprisingly works very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. You ain't never put on headphones before, have you there?
They don't go in your eyes?
No.
Fair enough.
This is a cold open.
Cold.
What? You just touched the
So sorry. Couldn't resist.
Let me do that again.
Yep.
Ooh. Hold on.
Still coming down.
Yeah, no, it's
Get your show notes out of the way back here.
yeah.
Cleans the whole system.
You know-
I don't think there's anything wrong with it though.
No, definitely not.
Just put them both in a blender and fuck you, and then drink it.
Delicious.
So good.
Yeah. You want me to get it? You want to get it?
Do you want to get it or do you want me to get it?
I can get it.
I'll get it.
I can get it.
I'm good.
We'll go.
Do you need to pee?
No.
Me neither.
Put that mic in front of your face. I don't ever look at the bottom of my feet. I mean, I could do
That's
this.
some
even-
caveman shit, dude. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but like, yeah, you probably could like rock climb and like not wear shoes. That shit's gonna grab. You got tread. You got tread on your foot.
You see my scar?
What'd you do there?
I stepped on a tent stake and went through my foot.
Fucker. How far?
It didn't go
All
went
the way
into
through?
the bone. It didn't go all the way through, but it went into the bone. Yep.
Like
Did you go barefoot a lot when you were a kid?
all the time.
Huh.
But that's not from when you were a kid.
No.
Yeah, that's built up from the past 5 years. Good on you. Like legit, you could walk around barefoot anywhere.
I can. I walk through fields of cactus barefoot.
You could walk through like, downtown New York.
I'd do it.
Not feel anything.
Nah, I wouldn't do that.
You'd
That's
be
gross.
good. Oh, ew.
All poo-poo times.
All
are
poo-poo times are
pee-pee
pee-pee
times.
times, but
Nah,
not all
pee-pee
pee-pee times
yeah,
are
poo-poo
times,
times. Yeah. Right.
Like I did 22,000
Yeah.
steps yesterday.
Right.
Sour cheers.
Sour cheers.